Welcome to the rally page. If you're seeing this now, this is a replay of yesterday's live feed. We lost volume, and this is also being uploaded to YouTube. So we have two platforms happening. Okay, what's going on with the rally pages? We are currently known as the Doctor-Patient Forum, and as you folks know, myself and my colleague have been the victim of a very sick individual. She's a cyber stalker. And because of how bad things have gotten, we are now contemplating closing down all the pages. And this is something I don't want to do because this page gives you folks real-time access to what's happening in the pain community. I work with both doctors and I work with pain patients. And my work has had to get put on pause because that's how bad things have gotten. Now, I want to go back to the very beginning. When I created this organization, there were 4 members. It was myself, Beverly Schechtman, Bev Schechtman, my colleague, David Israel, and Deborah Tuchasaks. After the first rally was organized, we parted ways. And early on, we had a group admin chat where we would discuss organizing the rally. After the first rally, which was a success, I wanted to start to organize in Canada, and for some reason I received pushback from Deborah. Right around that time, there was just something off about Deborah. She was on extremely high doses of opiates, and she had a gun. And she would make comments like, it was odd. There was just something that did not add up. I was afraid of her. And I know Bev was afraid of her. And I was just concerned because early on she would tell me, well, I have a Dropbox of people. I didn't know what a Dropbox was. So what she does is she would befriend somebody on social media. She would collect all of these texts, and then when the person would sever ties with her because they were afraid of her, Deb would turn on them, and then Deborah would have this Dropbox of all of this information. Now we can confirm that Deborah has created hundreds and hundreds of fake social media accounts, and she creates these Dropboxes of information. So we severed ties, and there was nothing sensational about it. We just severed ties. Shortly after, we learned that Deborah created a Facebook page, and it was called Beware of DP or Don't Punish Pain Rallies. And then she created another page, and then we started to become concerned because I was a court reporter for many years. I had never been exposed to this type of crazy before. I was very new to social media. Deborah started to display some very scary behavior on social media, so I blocked her. And I thought that was the end of it. It was never the end of it. For Deborah Tuchasaks, this was just the beginning of her terror. Deborah, you're watching this now, and I'm moving forward with getting you prosecuted because I've learned some very damning things about you. You are one scary person. Let's go back to what happened with the fake social media accounts. There's hundreds. We can never keep up with them. Now I just block them as I see them. Back in August, there was Jonna Mager's overdose. Jonna Mager's, she's with American Pain and Disability. Jonna Mager's children posted that they've reached out to the Attorney General's office because there was some malfeasance between Bob Sharon, pain pills, and what have you. Prior to that, I noticed that American Pain and Disability would always share, if I misspoke on a TikTok, they would use that as an opportunity to engage with negativity. They were always trying to catch me in something. And if you notice, I've never commented. I never leave comments anywhere on social media because I don't trust people at this point. Bob Sharon continued to make disparaging comments about me. And I'm not concerned about Bob because I think Bob is irrelevant. Perhaps he has a good heart somewhere, but there were too many red flags, too many mugshots. All I need is one mugshot. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, thank you. And as he continued to make disparaging comments, I started to see Deborah Tuchesocks again, and I thought to myself, oh my God, she's back. Now, Bev and I have been terrified of this woman, okay? And over the years, we have learned of other victims that Deborah has done this to. She just focuses on somebody and she targets them. It got very bad in August with the overdose and with Bob Sharon fueling the fire. And Bob was able to persuade people into thinking I was this monster. And that's not uncommon because we're on social media. So, you know, when you hear something about somebody, it's gossip. You probably like it. It's entertaining. What happened on Bob Sharon's page was nothing but, these are perverse individuals. Let me tell you what happened on Sharon's page and how he's intertwined in this mess. Early on, Bev, Deborah, myself, and David Israel would communicate in a group chat. And Bev is a victim of childhood sexual abuse. Bev shared some very private letters about her court case. Bev was raped by her grandfather, and she shared that with Deborah. Back in August, Deborah decided to post all of those letters, or some of those letters or excerpts, on Bob Sharon's page. I was sick to my stomach to see how many of you folks liked that post and participated in a hate-filled post. But this is social media, and you folks have that right to participate and exercise your First Amendment. I was sick to my stomach to know that people participated in a hateful, venomous conversation exposing, and people just laughed. They thought this was great, right? This is gossip. 152 comments, and not one person ever said, oh my God, why would you post something like this? So that's when I knew we're in a bad situation. I then learned that Deborah Tuchesocks contacted my daughter Francesca's father, who I was embroiled in a bitter custody battle with. She said, Stephen, I have some very concerning text messages that Claudia said about your daughter. I would like to share them. My daughter's father engaged and actually told my daughter Francesca about this. Now, my daughter Francesca and I already have a strained relationship because of the custody battle. And I saw that Deborah posted that information on Bob Sharon's page. And then I learned that Deborah had several communications with my daughter, and they were posted everywhere. One after the next, after the next. I was sick. I was physically sick. Physically sick. So Deborah has now reached out to my daughter's father. And she, you know, of course, these people don't know how crazy she is, but they are all of this information has been posted on Bob Sharon's page, and nobody's done anything about it. Once again, Bob Sharon is just an irrelevant piece of a puzzle. So Deborah has continued to post. She went to Montgomery County Court. I went to the police in August. Beverly went to the police in August. We filed these police reports against her because we have to build this investigation. And Deborah went to the court and said that I was in Missouri outside her home. I don't even know where Missouri is on the map. But this is how sick and twisted she is. The judge granted her a restraining order because I did not appear in court. Okay. Things have gotten so much worse. I was forced to go to Superior Court in Rhode Island, which was mortifying for me because these are my friends, these are my colleagues, because I am a retired court reporter. And we were able to get a temporary restraining order. I want to just go through a few of this. So how bad has it gotten with Deborah? Well, Deborah has created, there's too many pieces of paper here to share with you folks. That's how bad it's gotten. Several victims of Deborah have come forward, and they've already submitted statements because she's dangerous. Deborah has created this Facebook page about me. Beware of doctor-patient form and DPPR. You can go take a look at that if you would like. Just know that once you do that, my children's information is on that page. One of my daughters is under 18. Deborah created this Facebook page about me. She took a picture of me when I thought I had cancer, and she decided to plaster it everywhere because she thinks I'm embarrassed. Deborah, I don't look bad on any given day. Then here's Deborah acknowledging, yes, I make up fake social media accounts. Doesn't matter. Then she creates this Facebook page about me. And then this Facebook page about me. And then this one with my children. And then this is a TikTok account. Here's Deborah posing as a lawyer. Here's Deborah posing as both a doctor and a lawyer. Here's Deborah talking with my daughter's father because she thought that would make the situation better. Here's Deborah talking with my daughter. Now my daughter's very naive. She doesn't realize how bad this woman is. Here's Deborah posting a picture of my 87-year-old mother in a hospital bed with a picture of her gun permit. We have sent a letter to the ATF asking for an investigation. This woman should not own a gun under any circumstances. Here's Deborah talking about my dead brother and my sister. Here's Deborah on her other Twitter account, because there's hundreds, and she says that I have an adult daughter and a child, and my adult daughter is free rein to the bullying. Here's Deborah with her Don't Punish Pain, Let's Make Healthcare Twitter account that she hacked into, right? And here she is posting her restraining order all over social media. Here's yet another account that Deborah created. And the rest are statements from Deborah's victims. Now, since then, Deborah has created all of these other fake social media accounts, one after the next. Here's Deborah talking about a very good friend of mine, a retired police officer, because Deborah is saying that I had a friend of the police department run background checks. No such thing exists. Now, what I would like people to know is that we are in harm's way. We are afraid for our lives, and now we have to make the decision, what should we do with these pages? I am moving forward with some type of an investigation against Deborah, because this isn't the first time she does this. Deborah has been able to get a mother's child taken out of her care. Deborah tells authorities that moms have Munchausen by proxy. She is extremely dangerous. And because of Deborah, all of our work has been put on pause. I want to get back to American Pain and Disability and posting their garbage, nonsensical post. I saw that Bob Sharon posted an extremely perverse meme. I don't appreciate that's not funny to me. And Deborah's posting these vulgar things about my personal body because she's just so desperate to harm me, right? That's what this is all about. Let's talk about where Lauren DeLuca fits into this. A few years ago, Lauren DeLuca received a threat, a text, and Lauren said it was from me. I don't know how to create a fake social media account. I have zero knowledge. I don't know how to create an email account. Lauren DeLuca said Claudia Morandi threatened to slice my throat. When I learned that, I said, no. I'm going to pay to have Lauren DeLuca's phone analyzed, my phone, both of our computers. Lauren didn't want to do that. So I don't know why, but I offered. Because I would happily give my computer or my phone to the authorities to stop this nonsense. Lauren declined. We have learned that Deborah has created fake text. She sends other pain advocates horrible messages. People believe they are coming from me. And I don't know how to stop this behavior. I would really like people to stop liking anything that Bob Sharon puts out on Facebook, because let me tell you why. Our children, our information is on Bob Sharon's Facebook thread. And Bob, you're an idiot because you think nothing of it. Your goal right now is just to hurt me. You are irrelevant as far as I'm concerned. You're not even the problem here. I think you just got caught up in Deborah Tuchesok's, in her path. So here we have Bev, who's been re-victimized, but Bev is strong now. See, Deborah was counting on Bev being the old Bev 5 years ago. I want to talk about Dr. Feldman because I see that Dr. Feldman is now participating in the hate. Remember, hate goes where hate is, usually because people like gossip. I have learned, I was mentored by Dr. Feldman. I've learned so much from him. When Dr. Feldman created a GoFundMe to raise money to sue Andrew Kolodny, I was on board and I promoted it heavily. And I could start to see like the hate. Claudia Morandi takes the money. Okay, Claudia Morandi has never had a GoFundMe. Okay, never had a GoFundMe. Claudia Morandi is a volunteer. Claudia Morandi has never monetized off of Don't Punish Pain or the Doctor-Patient Forum. Never. Dr. Feldman had advocated a lot with me, and he would routinely say, I'm not giving anything away for free anymore. And I didn't blame him. He is a qualified professional. He deserves to be compensated. But I didn't want to be compensated because I'm not qualified, so I would not charge for services. Over time, the GoFundMe started to grow, and we couldn't find a lawyer. So I said, I'm not promoting the GoFundMe anymore, and the people need to be refunded. He didn't like that. Eventually, I would just stop working with him, and I'm sure he was very hurt by it. There were a few reasons I stopped working with him. I didn't like how he spoke to Bev. I didn't like it. I found it to be demeaning. And I think because he was, he had an amazing pain clinic for all those years. He had a lot of people at his beck and call. I just didn't like how he spoke to Bev. And I didn't like what was happening. I didn't like what it was becoming. So I left. Period. End of story. I had sent him 5 emails asking him, what are you going to do with the GoFundMe money? Please. And I posted that email. Please reimburse these people. These people lived on a fixed income. I've been nothing but transparent. I don't know anything about the GoFundMe other than that. All I know is that he's aligned himself with criminals. He's aligned himself with hateful people. He's aligned himself where, like I said, our children are being discussed. So nothing sensational about Dr. Feldman. Since all of this has happened, like I said, I was granted the temporary restraining order. We go back on October 28th, and my mom, who's 87, has to testify. My mom has not slept because of Deborah Tuchesok's. When we hear a knock on the door, my mother jumps out of her skin because we are afraid for our lives. So we don't know what to do with these pages. I don't think I have, there's so much more to say about Tuchesok's. I know that she's lied to Judge, I believe the last name is Cortez. I've got to look at the spelling. And I've sent a letter to the judge. We want this restraining order. And if I'm granted this restraining order, we can keep these pages open. People call me before they attempt suicide. And my work has had to be put on pause because of Deborah Tuchesok's. She's ruined, she's destroyed many, many families. And I have no doubt in my mind, Deborah, you're watching this. You will be held accountable one day. What you have done, you have caused irreparable harm to so many people in the Crohn's community, because that's where Deborah found me, in the Crohn's disease community. As of not even hours ago, Deborah is posting nonsense. We have all of our exhibits that will be submitted to the court. So hopefully we will be granted this restraining order. Now, will she stop after the restraining order has been granted? No, she'll never stop. So all we can do is try to warn you folks and protect you folks. She's armed. She's dangerous. She's a menace to society. And I hope that the prosecutor in Missouri and I hope that they can help. And we are where we want somebody to create a Google document, because this is where we want to have signatures on this document asking for this restraining order, because without this restraining order, these pages will probably need to be closed down because we are not safe. I see some discussion here about the Crohn's disease support group, because that's where Tutra Socks that's where she finds her victims, in the Crohn's disease social media groups. God only knows what this woman has done when she was a nurse. I don't, because she was working with children. She accuses people of having Munchausen by proxy. She's caused so much damage, so much damage. So that's where we are. If you are watching this on YouTube, do not engage with this woman. She is dangerous. We will keep you folks updated as we learn what's happening. I'm going to ask Bev if there are questions that I should address. Bev, are there questions that I should address? Somebody just said the picture of your mom with her gun permit should be considered a death threat legally. Well, we are hoping that the ATF looks into this, conducts an investigation, and she should not have a gun. I want to also say that early on, when we learned about these fake social media accounts, and she would discuss drop boxes that she had on other people, when we learned about this, we did connect with her sister, Eileen, and Eileen said she's dangerous and she'll portray herself as the victim. This is her behavior. And Eileen actually seemed frightened to discuss this with us. Apparently, Deborah has destroyed their family. I see that Bev just said, be careful, because she has fake accounts pretending to be friends. And so that's what she does. She has hundreds and hundreds. And we are working with a private investigator, tracing all of the accounts back to Deborah. So all of the hate in the social media pain community is traced back to Deborah Tutra Socks, also known as Deborah Feldman Stein. And yes, somebody asked, have we contacted the FBI? Yes. Bev is actually working on a very detailed report with links that will be sent to the FBI. We have, I can't tell you how many police departments, how many police reports. It goes on and on. Here's a police report. 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 And when Deborah gets desperate to hurt people, she reaches out to family members, like she did with my daughter. Now, let me tell you why she reached out to my daughter, because she knows that we have a strained relationship. She knows that I went through a custody battle, and she thought she was going to hurt me further. Deborah, you can't hurt me, sweetheart. I've been hurt. That's why I'm so good at what I do. See, I'm the best in the country at this, because for me, everything just looks up. That's it. Period. End of story. I want to talk about why I'm routinely attacked for working out. Bob Sharon made some other sophomoric comments. So I have good hours between 4 a.m. and 12 p.m. Those are my good hours. That's when I have to get everything done. And then I'm sick the rest of the day. And then I have to sleep a lot. Bev's also quite sick. We are very sick with Crohn's disease. Now, the reason you folks don't see me as a sick human being is because A, I'm vain. B, I don't like to be vulnerable. And C, I'm a fighter. So that's why I don't come on here when I'm in my nightgown. I don't like to do that. Now, I'm the founder of the largest pain advocacy group. Do you want to see a sick person as a leader? No. Okay, good point. Let's talk about how Deborah has interfered with our work. Years ago, I contacted Frontline, and I spoke with Nick, a producer at Frontline. He was considering running a piece, and I came on this platform, and I said, I'm so excited he's going to consider it. Guess what happened? he receives an email from Deborah Tuchesaux, and Deborah said, don't work with her, she's a fraud. And that's where that ended. And this is why I can't take you folks with me any longer on my journey. Deborah has contacted the Rhode Island Secretary of State's office thinking she was going to catch me in something. My nonprofit is in good standing. My nonprofit name is the Doctor-Patient Collaborative, DBA, the Doctor-Patient Forum. I am in good standing. Then Bob Sharon and Lauren and Shasta, they all congregated like, aha! Claudia's mother is a board member. Yes, my mother is a board member. Myself and my mother, we are unpaid. We can both be board members. See, there's nothing you can catch me in because I'm a volunteer. Now, people wonder, why does Claudia, why do you do this if you're not getting paid? Because this is a cause I'm very deeply involved in because I lived in a hospital bed. That's why. There's nothing sensational here. Now, so we can't take you folks with us on our journey anymore, which is unfortunate. Every person I work with, and we just hired a consultant, right? We had to let the consultant know. When I go into a television station, I have to let the television station know. I have to let whoever I work with, I have to let them know because Deborah will try to destroy it. Lauren DeLuca contacted attorney Ron Chapman. Now, Ron, I send a lot of doctors to Ron. Lauren DeLuca contacted Ron, thinking it would somehow hurt me. Ron said, if you're looking for me to say something unkind about Claudia Morandi, you're in the wrong place. Lauren DeLuca and Shasta contacted the attorneys at the CVS class action lawsuit. I want to talk about that now, if I could. Dr. Feldman's wife, Linda, was having difficulty getting her medication filled at a CVS. Dr. Feldman connected with attorney Bob Redfern out of Louisiana. I was brought into the conversations. Several conversations were with all of these lawyers who were interested in suing. In comes Edie Fuog. Edie Fuog was working with attorney Scott Hirsch. So we connected Scott with Bob Redfern and the other lawyers involved. So I was congratulating Dr. Feldman because it was Dr. Feldman that this lawsuit went forward because Linda was supposed to be the lead plaintiff in the case. I started to feel attacked by Edie because she would say, you're giving out wrong information. I never give out wrong information. I have no reason to. I'm not a plaintiff in the lawsuit. Dr. Feldman wanted me to be an intervener in the lawsuit because I live in Rhode Island and that's where the lawsuit is being based out of. So why do I block so many people? Probably because I've been attacked for 5 years as a volunteer. And these attacks, they're all connected to Deborah Tuchesaux, right? So we don't foresee this getting any better. All we can do is warn people. I have, like I've said, I think I've covered everything. This is going to be uploaded to YouTube. I'd like to discuss but let's go back to Bob Sharon because I saw Carol Adams was like, so Claudia Morandi charged for services. That's 100% false, Carol. Claudia Morandi has not charged for services. We have asked for, show me where I charged for services. Nothing could ever be produced. And I'm going to tell you why. People just like to hate. People especially like to hate me. I'm the advocate that people have grown, people that love to hate. And I'm actually okay with that because I'm unfazed by most of this. However, Deborah, when you post a picture of my 87-year-old mother with your gun permit, I'm going to do everything in my power to be sure that you lose your gun permit. You should not be holding a gun. So this is very tragic, what happened to the pain community. As far as Lauren DeLuca, I think Lauren is just unhinged. She makes video after video about me on TikTok. And if you notice, I never comment. I don't comment on any of this because if I do, I will lose credibility. Lauren DeLuca, Shasta, Bob Sharon, they have no credibility. The Doctor-Patient Forum is now working with credentialed individuals. I hear from doctors. Doctors oftentimes contact me before they do their lawyer. So that's why I don't comment on anything. The only time I commented is when Bob Sharon kept sharing that TikTok I made, where, after the doctors were sadly killed in Oklahoma, and he just kept sharing it over and over to portray me in a negative light. But that's amateur hour. I don't even care. My only comment was, you're embarrassing yourself, because he continues to embarrass himself. And I see him routinely begging for money. If you want to donate to Bob Sharon, donate to Bob Sharon. I don't care. I don't care. We like to get donations, but we're going to leave it as this. We're going to be receiving funding. And when the funding runs out, our work goes on pause. And that's not uncommon. A lot of programs are depleted because of funding, and the programs go on pause. And that's what's going to happen at the Doctor-Patient Forum. We do rely on donations. We appreciate donations. And I think I've proven myself time and time over again in the pain community. Legislation has been born out of my organization. Television commercials, radio spots, merchandise, all because of this organization. And I've never made one penny off of donations. So that's where we are. I'm so sorry to burden you folks with this. I hope I have answered your questions. I hope if this doesn't have sound today, then it's going to be on YouTube, because that's what's next in this process. To the doctors and the lawyers who have reached out to me, I thank you for your support. We hope that the judge grants us this restraining order on October 28th. And, you're going to see her tweets. I don't see them because I just block everything, but she tags Bev. She announces our addresses. And it's just part of her, she profiles. So I think she's a very, very sick individual, and we look forward to our day in court. Bev just said people need to ask Dr. Feldman for their money back. That's right. So if you would like a refund from the GoFundMe, I don't know anything about the GoFundMe, nothing at all. Please contact Dr. Feldman. I don't think Dr. Feldman is dishonest. I don't think he's untoward. I think he just is hurt, and he aligned himself with hateful people. Not uncommon in the social media pain community. The podcast is thriving. We are so thrilled with our podcast. It's been well received. You can listen to the podcast by visiting the drpatientforum.com and click on podcast. We have some wonderful guests lined up. Once again, we can't announce the guests because we know Deborah Tuchasok will reach out to them, and we don't want to frighten our guest. So what happens with the pages now? I think that's going to depend on what happens with the restraining order. And Bev is asking if any of you have given your private information to Deborah Tuchasok. Let us know so we can get you folks help. Somebody just asked about Amazon. Yes, you can donate to us by changing your charitable organization to the Doctor-Patient Collaborative. It comes up as the Doctor-Patient Collaborative.